Hey everybody, it's You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, and welcome to my range. Now today we're not going to do any shooting, or at least not yet. But as you can see, I've got my lab coat on. And what that means is I'm going to do a deep dive on a single slingshot. Now this will be a series of videos where I will go through my collection. I will pick out the really great slingshots or the popular ones, or maybe even just some unusual ones. And we'll take a real close look at them and discuss the design and features and how they work. So, this being the first one, I thought it might be fun if we started with my personal favorite slingshot, the Fugetaboutit. So we'll go over to the bench and we'll take a real close look at this, and I'll tell you about how it was built. Let's get to it. All right, here we are at the bench. I've got a variety of Fugetaboutits displayed. Let's start with this one. This is my all-time favorite slingshot. It is the Hardcore Fugetaboutit. It's got an aluminum core with G10 scales. Also has the binding post attachment system that I developed, I think, right before I came up with this design. That's when I worked on that. And this one is inspired by and built to go along with this knife. This is the Spyderco Volatin Sub-Hilt Fighter. It was designed by Butch Volatin, a very famous knife maker. And this particular model has a hidden button to activate the automatic release. I had that work done as a custom bit of work by the Volatin family. And these are some of my all-time favorite items. I love them. Now, the design of the Fugetaboutit, and the reason I call it the Fugetaboutit, is to do with this ring, the pinky ring there. That's why we call it the Fugetaboutit, because you're wearing a big old pinky ring. The importance of that ring, or the reason that that makes this slingshot unusual, is that in contrast to traditional frames that have pinky rings, like this example from Wasp's slingshots, this is the Enzo with a pinky ring, or pinky hole. And how that would work is you would grab it traditionally, and then as your fingers wrapped around to the target side of the frame, that's how you would interface with the pinky hole. Whereas the Fugetaboutit, you address from the shooter side. What that does is adds a physical positive stop to the end of the frame, so that as long as you are grabbing onto it, there's no chance that it could slip out of your hand. And the second thing it does is it helps with rotational control. Because once you lock it in place, the frame can't rotate or slide either way. So it provides what I believe is the best grip in all of slingshotdom. I don't know of any other handheld slingshots, aside from ones that might have a wrist brace that have as secure a grip as this. How I got to that design was kind of Forrest Gumped into it, that I went to my very first slingshot meetup at the legendary Blue Skein Shootout at Blue Skein's house in Virginia. And there I met a group of people that have become friends for many years now. And one of those was Darren Glenn Cook. And I had taken a slingshot that I had made out of melted down buckets, and I handed it to him to see what he thought. And he took it and he looked at it and he immediately flipped it upside down, grabbed onto it, put his finger through the pinky hole, and said he liked it very much. And I was like, what? So I took it back and I looked at it, and it never occurred to me that a pinky hole would be used. I thought like a traditional where you would reach over. So I rushed right home, and this is the first prototype of the Fugetaboutit. And as you can see, the handle needed some serious adjustment. So in pretty short order, I had the basic design down. And here's the most recent version of it. And you can see it's kept with the overall design quite nicely. The only difference really is the width of the fork tips, and then of course the overall width. When I developed this design, it was a few years back, several years back, and we were shooting TheraBand Gold, and we were shooting big, wide bands, and some people were shooting double bands per side to get the speed that we wanted. But now with sports-specific latex available, these narrower bands, these narrower fork tips are all that you really need. So let's look at a couple other versions of it. Here's a wrap and tuck over the top, but this one is curved. So it's bent to match up with your hand, and I really love this slingshot. And I might look back into some more of this bent HDPE. This one I'm calling the trash camo. It's built from melted down Home Depot bags. It was more of a proof of concept. The process needs a little refinement to get a more solid blank, but I think it's pretty funny. And then you can have some versions like this that are a more ergo, more comfortable. This one's pretty thick. Also has a bottle opener. I love all things bottle opener. In this version, a friend of mine wanted me to try something with knobs instead of just the screws. And I did, and I didn't like the look of the knob, and then I thought maybe I'd try it with my logo, and I wasn't very happy with that, so I haven't quite sorted that out yet. So I may get back to this one at some point. We'll pause here to take a look at, I'll put some stills in of other versions of this slingshot that I've made, because there's a lot of them. Okay, that was our in-depth look at the Fugetaboutit. So thanks for watching, and if you have any suggestions for frames that you'd like me to take a look at, leave it in the comments below. Thanks again, have a great day.